You know, after all the amazing stories we heard today, it seemed a little trivial to me to talk about money. And yet, I know I have something to share, and I know I'm called to share it. And as the late, great Zig Ziglar said, money won't make you happy, but everyone wants to find out for themselves. So you may be wondering why a financial planner is interested in the human brain. And I think, like most people, I'm just trying to make sense of the world. But I do have a story to share. That's actually my first slide. Here's the story. This is a picture of me and my mom when I was 16 and she was 58. And isn't she fabulous? And when I was 12 and she was 54, she had a stroke. And it left her unsteady on her feet and slurring her words, and a lot of those words were curses for a while, which wasn't good for a good Catholic woman. And when you remember that most 12-year-old girls are embarrassed that their mothers even breathe, you can imagine my horror as she stumbled and slurred and cursed her way up to communion at St. Teresa's. And you have a little bit of insight as to why I'm interested in the human brain. Not only hers, but mine and everyone else's. So that's part of the story. Okay. It's all about the scarf. Okay, most of economic theory is based on our left brains. And our left brains are very rational and logical and objective. And they can reflect on the past and project into the future. And this is all very necessary in traditional financial planning. Our left brains allow us to experience ourselves as separate individuals. And this is where our ego's efforts are focused, on our wants, our needs, our desires, our efforts and achievements. And what's interesting is the more separate we feel from one another, the more our ego will go into overdrive, and the more we need stuff to feel like we can either impress or fit in with our social group. Our left brains are very analytical, they like to find patterns, and they're very controlling. Our right brains, on the other hand, are very irrational, illogical, highly subjective, and allow us to live in the present moment. This is all very Zen. Our right brains allow us to experience our world through our emotions and our senses. Our right brain allows us to feel part of all that is. Whereas our left brain made us feel separate, the right brain is all about everything that exists in our world. And as women, if we're strongly right-brained, this is a problem because we may not always advocate for ourselves in terms of financial resources because it feels greedy. You may think the right brain has no place in finance, but I'm going to tell you it does. I had a good friend of mine tell me that most people don't know enough about finance to know when they're being taken advantage of. And that's true. But you can always trust your intuition. The right brain is very intuitive, and also it allows us to feel. And if we can recognize and honor what we are feeling, they can serve as a guide. You may not understand the terminology, but you can understand the body language with somebody, and that will help you. The most significant part of the right brain in finance is that it's creative, it's resourceful. Whereas the left brain gets stuck in worry, the right brain gets to work finding solutions. And this is the most important part of the right brain in terms of finance. Whereas the left brain pores over consumer reports, the right brain is all about what I like. The left brain can get stuck in analysis paralysis, where you do all kinds of research, but you never actually do anything. But the right brain can be a little too impulsive. The left brain is parental, but the right brain is childlike. The left brain seeks control, but the right brain seeks pleasure and enjoyment. The left brain plans for the future, but the right brain is all about living for today, living in the moment. This is a slide from a study done by Ng, and it's all about how we think and feel about money. And what was interesting to me about this is the left side of the brain, which is the traditional financial planning side, produced all negative emotions: fear, envy, guilt, shame. Whereas the right side of the brain produced all positive emotions: safety, and hope, and joy. What's interesting is the left side of our brain controls the right side of our body. And in Eastern philosophy, this is the yang in the yin-yang circle. And the yang energy is very active. It's fiery. It's about doing. And is there no surprise in Western philosophy, where we support a lot of yang energy, that most people are burned out? The right side of our brain controls the left side of our bodies, which is the yin energy. And yin energy is passive, but it's also restful, and it's about being. Then there's our lizard brain. This is part of our brain that helps us survive, and it controls our fight or flight response. It gives us adrenaline to either fight or flee. And the problem in finance is most of us will have the same physiological reaction to a bear market, which means one that's going down, as an actual bear in the room. We can get that fearful and that worried. The problem is our bodies have no way of processing that adrenaline, and it can do us harm. So there's two ways of managing your lizard brain. One is to keep it from overreacting by breathing. It's always interesting when you say breathing, everyone takes a breath. Breathing, it's true. Doing yoga, meditation, prayer, just keeping it quiet. The other thing is by processing the extra adrenaline, by moving. Now, I dare not say exercise, because we're all sick of hearing that, but movement, moving your body in a way that you find enjoyable and also effective, and that helps get that energy out. Then there's this space between our left and right brains, where I think perhaps good intentions go to die. And I say that because if your left brain doesn't get enough information to make a decision, and your right brain is busy deciding what nail polish you should wear, you're going to hit a wall, and you're going to procrastinate. But I think this is exactly the space in our brains where our inner financial guru lives. If we can only consult both sides and honor how both sides can serve us, we can stop feeling so conflicted about money and start finding some peace. We can use judgment, but also use intuition. We can think about the future, but also think about today. We can seek truth as well as patterns. We can be objective and also be joyful. We can maintain a healthy discipline, but also act on our best impulses. These are the tools we need. Like any relationship, money deserves your time. Time to think, time to dream, time to learn about yourself and what's really important in your life. Those priorities will drive your financial decisions. We need to trust our intuition, put forth conscious effort, and maintain a healthy discipline, a loving discipline. I leave you with a quote from the poet Rumi, who said, "God turns you from one feeling to another and teaches by means of opposites, so that you have two wings to fly, not one." Thank you.